Walker bouncing. Sam Walker. Welcome back, young man.
This young rooster, Sam Walker, he's a gambler, a risk taker. Small in stature, he's a new age rugby league footballer. Whacks first, worries about it later.
Walker, nice from the Roosters.
Somehow creating space and time by doing funky things before he passes,
Gets up and goes again.
before he kicks.
Oh, this could be outrageous.
5 games from a long injury layoff, Sam Walker's created twice as many try assists as any other halfback.
How does Sam Walker do that?
13.
Brilliant football from the young half.
And get this, next best is the gifted Nathan Cleary on 7.
You just keep getting it there, keep getting it there. If you hit that right foot, then you've got that contact on the ball as well.
Already, Walker's won a Dally M Rookie of the Year, yet still playing like he's in the backyard, out there with his mates.
Some brilliance from the kid.
Forget about completions and field position. With this kid, it's always next try wins.
A miracle play.
Brilliant.
Absolutely sensational.
It is extraordinary. If you look hard enough, there's a bit of Alfie Langer about him, which is fair enough, seeing how they both spent their early days running around in Ipswich, the footballing nursery, 40 minutes drive southwest of Brisbane.
Oh, we're seeing some rugby league played here.
This Friday, on a cold, late winter's night, Sam Walker will show you when to walk away, more importantly, when to run. It is a ripper. The Roosters and the Bulldogs, finals bound, right here on Fox League.
Hello and welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle. Joining me, Gordon Tallis, Dan Ginanne and Dave Riccio. Sam Walker, the gambler. How good has he been so far, or since he's returned from injury for the Sydney Roosters? Let's have a look at his stats, actually, Gordy, before I come to you. 5 games, 13 try assists, 9 by the way of kicks, 4 line break assists. Immediate impact upon return, Gordy.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's had a few injuries as well, so just imagine if he can put a couple of seasons together without injuries. But what a player he does. He's got the short kicking game of Alf, long passing game, like his dad, actually. So, but he's pretty much got everything but just experience now.
Well, 9 try assists from kicks, right? But you see all the different ways. Grubbers, high kicks for the wingers. It is Alfie-like in its creativity. Look at this, you know, the ball, that's an incredible try in the wet at Brookvale, but he gives them something different. They've got Canterbury this week. They're the sort of side you've got to throw something different at because they're so good defensively. He is the exact type of player that could actually flourish against a very tough defensive team.
Very cool.
A lot of times in our game, guys, it can get a little bit robotic because coaches just copy each other's game plans and try and shut them down. The key with that is Sammy Walker, you don't really know what's coming next. And I reckon that's the biggest issue for the opposition coach on how do you shut this bloke down. He might skip down the short side, a little chip through, grab a kick, as Dan said, one of the best kicking games in the comp. It's such a fall to have for Sam Walker, and I think, Gordy, you spot on. Like, those numbers, boys, off the back of a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Look at them. 13 try assists in 5 games off the back of a torn ACL. He's done a
Still don't
huge
know
job.
what Brent Reid was smoking. He was smoking something very good.
Right, you've got to let that go. The poor man has been battered into
Ride it
submission.
all the way.
He's dead
Stop.
already.
Giddy up. That's right.
He's
Giddy up.
dead already.
You haven't even pulled the whip yet, Dan.
Yeah, I haven't got the whip out.
Hey, let me ask you this. 3 games with Savala. They've won all 3, average score 38. You're a halves player. Have you seen enough to know that's a very good combination?
Yes, they complement each other. And I said it early on in the year, even before Sam come back, I would partner him with Savala because his short kicking game in Sam is brilliant, instinctive play. Whereas Savala, big body, really good defender, great long kicking game, gets the game plan on, doesn't test his hand too much or take too much risk because his partner in crime, the gambler, He takes a lot of risk, right? So, yeah, Dan, I love it. And it's getting better every week. So it's exciting for them. But this is a big one against the Dogs. It's a different test. Now, the Roosters, some say it was a rebuilding year, but they're still on the edge of the 8. Would you classify it as a successful year so far? And have they done well considering?
Oh, well, I do, especially with the experience that they lost. Jared Rea-Hargreaves, he was the cornerstone of their side for a long time. He had some sort of Alfie-style stat where he didn't play, they didn't win. Keary, that's another experienced grand final half. And they lost a bit of talent out wide as well.
Manu, Swali'i.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
Mate, disappointing for me. I've got this team. I had this team, and I'm not giving up on them yet. I had them in the grand final this year.
You're right.
They've got 5 Origin players, right?
Yeah.
Tedesco, Tupou, Mark Nawaqanitawisi, Rob Toya, Sammy Walker, Victor Radley, Angus Crichton, Lindsay Collins. I mean, seriously, listen to that lineup. Listen to that roster.
I'll push
right?
back a little bit.
Connor Watson.
They're missing their key half all year, Sam Walker.
Granted, right?
Their Origin players you just mentioned, you've got Connor Watson, who's a bench player. Lenu.
So he's not an Origin player?
Well, he's an Origin player, but we're not talking about in key position or halves or big names in Origin football. There's a big difference.
Right.
Lenu's an impact player who comes off the bench for Origin as well.
So when I talk about Origin players, what we know, Braith, is, and I'm preaching to the converted here, when they get to the big games, they know exactly what the pressure looks like. And those, in the smallest of moments, in those tight games, they've got a roster, be it Connor Watson from the bench, who's played in big games and can get the job done in big games.
Yeah. I think they've done well myself. I disagree. But they beat the Cronulla Sharks with no Origin players.
Absolutely, they did.
Yeah,
they did. They also got.
But you know what, bro?
What do you think about the Sharks then? Well, maybe we'll get to that.
They lost to Cronulla as well in a big game. And this has been the Roosters' downfall. Even before this year, the last 2 or 3 years against top 4 opposition. Every time they played Penrith and Melbourne, we put up the stat. But any team 4th and above, they're 1-12 since the 2022 finals. That's their
millstone for sure.
Top 4 teams are hard to beat. That's why they're top 4 teams.
They're being inconsistent.
But that's their chance. This is why this is such a enticing game because they can beat the Dogs, but are they good enough to do it?
Even Rob Toya, he come from nowhere.
Sure.
So Origin player, yes, but a young bloke who really wasn't expected to play. He was a bolter and did a great job. Now, Dog stars Matt Burton and Max King have backed their coach after making another huge call.
Yeah, he's been great for us all year. Obviously, he's on his way into the starting role there, so he deserves that. He's been working hard in the background, so just what he brings on the field, he's very energetic and his communication's probably the best in our side, so... I thought he was great on the weekend and he's only just going to get better.
Yeah, it's obviously been tough for Reid, but, I think he's been great around the place, and it's not really a discredit to him or how he's going. It's just more of a credit to Bailey and how he's been performing. So, tough position for Reid, but I feel like he's handled it really well.
Dave, why do you think Serrato has pulled the trigger on Marnie?
Firstly, we can go to the Fox Sports lab here, fellas, and here's a little indication of the influence of what Bailey Hayward brings, and I'll get to that as far as why. When Bailey Hayward's on the field, the Bulldogs have scored 22 points compared to at the time when Reid Marnie's on the field of only 5 points. Stephen Crichton post-match last week, he spoke about, the question was asked, what does Bailey Hayward bring to this team? He spoke about his communication and his ability to defend even when he's fatigued. And on top of that, it's what he's doing for the rest of the team. Bailey Hayward's not only just doing it for himself as a dummy half, he's making the team better, as proven by the 22 points when he's out on the field. Boys, go back to that. There was a game earlier this year against the Raiders, the great comeback.
That's
right?
the game.
If you recall that moment at half-time, they made an adjustment in the spine and they moved from Bailey Hayward into a more of a ball-playing role and Sexton taking a back seat while still staying on the field. There was no denying that Hayward's influence that day.
The only challenge for Hayward now is right at the start of the game when there's a lot of sting, going through that first 15 or 20 minutes where Reid Marnie can take a bit of that, right? And there's limited points early in the game. So, then that stat is alarming to me, but it's harder to score points right at the beginning of the game. And the Dogs are one of those sides that like to roll into it.
It is hard not to respect what they're trying here, Canterbury, because think where they were 2 years ago. Think where they are now. They could coast into the finals, go with Sexton at half and Marnie at 9, and let's say they made a prelim final. You'd say that's a bloody fantastic season considering where they were 2 years ago. But Cam Serraldo thinks they can win this comp, and he should think they can win this comp. So that's why he's making big balls decisions, excuse my language. I mean, to get rid of your halfback, now to get rid of your hooker. Bailey Hayward's been a star. Yeah. Ever since he came in round 6 last year against Melbourne, he has been superb.
Before we move on quickly, Bulldog Riccio, he was big on Reid Marnie, should be the starting 9 for the finals. Do you agree or not?
No, I disagree. And I think for everything I just said, and look, Reid's had his opportunity. To be fair, like he's been at the club for a long time now. And I think the discipline factor is another one too. We know that in last year's match, huge game against the Manly Seagulls, a key penalty, went against Reid, and I think it hurt the Dogs. And I think Bailey's making the most of the opportunity, and unfortunately it's not Reid's jumper anymore.
I think he's improved with his discipline, Marnie, but at the same time, I like the decision. Nothing against Reid. I just like Hayward. Yeah. And I think that's Cam Serraldo's attitude. Yep. You've got to get Hayward in the game as much as possible.
All right, Ivan Cleary and Craig Bellamy are divided on the controversial penalty try rulings. Take a look.
No, I'm not comfortable. I think it's one of those ones where, originally where the rule was made, we just tend to forget why that was made and sort of drift off and become something else. It's all about player safety, that rule. I think some of the ones you've seen have got nothing to do with safety. Just a little bit of common sense needed in and around that rule. I think, as long as it's deemed safe, then I think you should get the opportunity to at least try and stop a try in that situation.
That's the rules. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what anyone thinks. It's the guys making up the rules. So that's the rules. That's the rules. So again, if you want to put an application in to get the rules changed, they can do it, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to worry about that. They're the rules, so that's what we're all got to play to.
Oh, very good.
They're the rules, bro.
They are the rules. They're the rules. If he wants to put an application in, put an application in.
Yeah, there's one rule about the wingers. Just don't talk about the rules.
All right, huge clash. Panthers Storm, live and ad break free during play Thursday, 7 p.m. right here on Fox League. This sets up to be an epic encounter.
Yeah. Look, you think Penrith, if they're going to really put a big warning shot out there, they go there and they beat Melbourne. Melbourne without Hughes, I think that they're still a little bit down and they haven't had that 80-minute performance. I'm still waiting for Melbourne to...
No Pappenhausen too.
Yeah, no Pappenhausen. Well, there you go. So, it's not the strongest Melbourne Storm side, but there's no Isaiah Yeo either.
Melbourne want to win, but Penrith have to win, right? Penrith need to finish top 4. Well, they don't need to, but they're in the top 4 now. They don't want to let that go. And they've got a week. Melbourne into Canberra. If they win both those games, they're premiership favourites. Melbourne, if they lose, it's okay because they then play Canterbury the week after. That's the big one for them because if they win that with their better for and against, that'll get them in the top 2. So I'm not saying Melbourne won't be all guns blazing in this game, but I think this is a bit more important to Penrith.
We're going to get a great barometer. One way or the other, we're going to get a great barometer on where these two clubs sit as far as premiership claims are concerned. Arguably, we could be seeing this year's grand final. Yeah. That's how good these two teams are. Guys, I know there's a lot of chatter in and around Isaiah Yeo and a shoulder issue. I can tell you that he had a crack to play in this game yesterday. And it's certainly not as not feared as much as what is being suggested. I expect him to be right in the running next week.
Yeah, Raiders, right?
Against the Raiders.
I'm hearing the same thing.
In Mudgee Brae.
Yeah.
Yowie is from that area of where he played his junior footy. So I expect Isaiah to be right in the frame next week.
On Super Saturday this week too. Now, Bellamy, he had no issue with the penalty try rule. Is anyone surprised by that?
Yeah. Look, this is the subplot of all subplots. And honestly, guys, it can move from the background to one of the biggest headlines as we get towards the Premiership. Yeah. Because this ruling has the potential to decide a Premiership. We saw a penalty try awarded on the weekend that has raised a lot of polarising debate. And we see that Ivan Cleary, there's no doubt in the world The Melbourne Storm.
There's no debate over that one there, though.
Yeah, but there's no. What I was about to say, Broth, is Ivan's had his say as a setup for this match tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Because he wants the spotlight on this play. Melbourne Storm have scored more tries from kicks than any other team in the comp.
I mean, Coates is up against tall. Cameron Munster has hit Coates 2 or 3 times the last 2 weeks for tries over taller opponents. So that's going to be a go-to tomorrow.
And if he's not kicking to Coates, he's kicking to Elikar.
That's right. Now, will they... Again, we spoke last night. Is there any talk that they could change this rule before the finals?
No, they can't change it, can they? Braith?
I spoke to the NRL. I spoke to the NRL today, boys, and they're not changing it.
No.
Certainly not now.
It's not a clear-cut change.
Yeah, this is the problem. This needs proper discussion.
Because there's going to be grey area around a lot of this. Even they can't just go, okay, now you can attack the player in the air. So, and some like this one here.
If they change the rule, there's going to be so much grey in it.
So much grey.
So much.
Here's the problem, the Teague Wilton one, right? Which is the one that really stood out, right? I've heard experts say, and I don't necessarily think they're wrong, saying, well, it's a penalty, but it's not a penalty try. Problem is, once it goes to the bunker and you've awarded that a penalty, then it has to be a penalty try because by virtue of it being a penalty in a situation, of course Wilton is going to score if Sloane isn't doing what he's doing. This is a very complicated subject, and I don't know how we solve it.
No try, because I genuinely think he went up to get the ball and he didn't. In the air, he made a split decision.
Sloane did nothing wrong.
No. But what will happen is they'll start disguising going up for the ball and just tackling him in the air.
My concern, guys, is that this rule was implemented back in 2022 on the basis of player safety. That was we want to protect the players from flipping over and being tackled mid-air, which is understandable. However, there is nothing dangerous happening to Teague Wilton.
Yeah.
See,
nothing.
See what Munster's doing there. Right, and I applaud Melbourne for doing this, but how many times in the last couple of months have we seen Melbourne switch their attack just so they can pop up a kick to Coates?
That's what they do.
It's a brilliant skill, but is this what we want our game to become? Just high kicks into the corner?
I agree with you, Dan. I think it's concerning.
I'm not knocking Melbourne because they've got the player to do it, so they're well done there. And Coates, when he gets it right, it is spectacular.
You don't like that. I love it when the Coates goes up for the high catch and the athleticism he shows.
Now, if that's a penalty try... Coates a bad example because it's brilliant to watch. But if other clubs start doing this, the Roosters do it well with Tupou, right? If this becomes the norm...
Can I tell you something,
is that what we want our game to be?
That's Tuesday, Thursday, captain's run, practising that catch. If he catches it better than you...
It's a brilliant skill.
And that's the skill that he's got. His highlight reel is unbelievable. Why don't we let his skill do that? If we got someone that can out-leap someone... and we can call him Air Jordan, but why don't we let him do it?
But that's why we've got to knock the penalty try situation on the head. Because if the attacking player goes up and knows all he's got to do is catch it, and if he's taken on the way down, it's a penalty try. Guys, we can't have that.
What we need to appreciate is this is not a quick fix for the NRL. Everyone can complain and debate about it, but it's not that simple.
Yeah, no, leave the rule alone. Otherwise, we'll have all hit-up wingers.
All right, Katoni Staggs is full of confidence with his new look halves as the Broncos head into the Battle of Brisbane.
Obviously Suncorp is our home and it's been our home for a while now and it will always be our home. They're just obviously a team that's from over in Redcliffe ways there and they just come over to play on the same field.
You still think you can win a competition even though it's still in half?
100% I do, yeah. Got no doubt. Obviously... it is a massive blow when you do lose your two main halves, but that's why we've got depth here and we can put players in there to play them positions. And it's a team sport, so it's just not them two that are playing the game. So 17 boys on the field, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's just a team from Redcliffe that come over and play on the same field. If that hasn't lit the fuse for the rivalry, I don't know what will. I'm sure Redcliffe wouldn't be happy with that. The Dolphins?
If South and Roosters are fighting over a field, so Redcliffe would have played at that ground before the Broncos. Right, they're 75 years old. It was Lang Park. They would have won grand finals there. It is the home of the Broncos. I know it's the home of the Broncos. But I think they both have a right to play there somehow. But I love it.
Can I say I love the pettiness? The only time they're called Redcliffe is the week they play the Broncos. Because the Broncos do it so they can diminish Redcliffe as a little area in the peninsula and the Broncos are the whole city. And I love it. I'm here for it. South should just start calling them Easts. That's a brilliant part. It's a proper rivalry, Gordy, and it's only 3 years old.
Well, 75 years for the Dolphins.
All right, 2 injured players in the spine, but Dave, you think other clubs have had it worse or just as bad?
I just think the Broncos, and I love what Katoni Staggs said there.
Why did you say Crimea River this week?
I did say Crimea River because you need to get through adversity, Braith, to win premierships, right? We're talking about Ezra Mam, who's played 10 games all year for the Broncos. They've got to this point in time with Ezra Mam playing 10 games. Selwyn Cobbo's been shopped and let go by the Broncos. That's how much they think of him.
Good point.
Right? And granted, Adam Reynolds, no doubt. Yeah. Huge blow, get it. However, they do have a decent replacement in Ben Hunt, right? Who knows how to play big games.
I think you've been a bit harsh. Like Adam Reynolds is a great player.
Good player.
Ezra Mam has been their best player since returning and turned their season around. They're worth 1.5 combined. You add Cobbo, they're over $2 million. That any team who cops that in the halves, that's a big loss, and it's a lot more severe than I think you're suggesting, in my opinion.
This is the Brisbane Broncos, Braith.
Yeah, I know.
This is a nursery of talent that has over 70,000 junior league participants in their nursery. They have the ability to cover depth, right? More so, they have more third-party deals than anyone.
Okay.
They have.
So who's covering them?
Well, Ben Hunt's not a bad replacement.
So do you think Ben Hunt's in the top halves in this competition at the moment?
Well,
he's at the back end of his career. You're talking about...
Hey, I didn't sign him for 2 years. They did.
Yeah,
they believed
not on
in
big
him.
money, yes, but
they believed in him.
Yeah, but not on big money. Like
he was $1 million halfback.
What did he sign
at
for?
the Dragons.
Mid fives.
Yeah. And then you've got...
There's the problem there.
So you're writing off Reece Walsh, Pat Carrigan, Payne Haas, Katoni Staggs,
I think you underestimate
Shibasaki.
the impact of those key players being out.
I'm rating the lineup. Right?
So you think they shouldn't be affected by them too?
They'll be affected, I get it, right? But not tear up your grand final
tickets. 2 halves
tickets.
at the same time, the same week, same play, they won't be there for 4 weeks minimum.
Well, you don't rate Ben Hunt then?
I don't not rate him. He's just not in the same calibre as them two, in my opinion. Do you think he is?
No, he's not in there.
Yeah,
calibre,
that's my point.
Right?
They're going to have to take a big hit here.
He's a state of origin player, Ben Hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Player.
He's an origin player. Yeah. They'll be able to hold their with that
starting 7 origin player.
Braith, with that roster, they should be. What you think they should be tearing up their grand final tickets?
You think?
I just think you got to cut a bit of slack. I think it's a bit harsh.
If they don't make the finals or if they go out the back door, it's not because of what happens from here forward. It's because they failed from round one. When I say failed, they didn't do enough between round one and now. They shouldn't be in a situation with the full strength lineup where they're fighting for their lives. That's the problem. From this point on,
that's a fact.
It's pretty hard, I would imagine, to change. Poor Billy Walters has been superb. Off the bench, and that's something they now lose. His X factor off the bench, off the back of Payne Haas's second stint, because he's got to play number 6. He'll do a very good job there, but they're strengthening weakening a strength to strengthen a weakness.
That's right.
So,
and I'm not disrespecting Hunt and Walters, but they are not the same calibre as Reynolds, not even close to Reynolds and me.
But they're handy replacements.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that they shouldn't lose their way a little bit or struggle the next few weeks.
Well, they can't complain.
2 key players.
They can't complain this week because Redcliffe are missing Farnworth, Plath, Flegler, Gilbert, Saifidi, Corfusi, although that's self-inflicted, Mola. Yeah. And they've had players out all year, and they're in the same fight that the Broncos have had.
Yep, all right. Dave, Sharks have retained the right to play finals at Shark Park.
The NRL have approved, should the Sharks advance and secure a home final by finishing 4th, 5th or 6th, they are free to use Sharks Stadium, as it's called, and that's where it sits. It would be the same for Manly, using Four Pines, or if one day the West Tigers get their Brave.
Can I ask?
Use their suburban facilities.
Can I just ask? That's a low blow.
Can I just ask a fan?
It's not my club.
So back in the day, Brisbane or wherever, St George, you had to go play at the Sydney Football Stadium. I played finals there against the Bulldogs or whatever. That was where the big games were played. Why can't Cronulla go to that stadium, Allianz, and stop locking out fans.
I can
Rugby
see you
league
twitching
fans.
over there.
Well, Shark Park is a dump, right? but he's right, Dave. If Brookvale's good enough,
Well, they're not good enough.
Of course they're not good enough.
Well, that's
it's
what
a
we're saying.
disgrace. It is.
Well,
Why
they're good enough through the season.
Yeah, but
You understand what I'm saying? The
Why are you
NRL are okay with the stadium through the season.
You know why?
What changes for first week
You know
of the
why
final?
the NRL's comfortable with this, and it's the wrong reason. It's because they are fearful if we take Cronulla versus whoever, Dolphins.
Well, that's the catch,
to,
right?
to the football stadium, and we have 15,000 there. It's an embarrassing look.
That's right. So
So they would rather play at a construction site, which this has been for years, and I've got real issues with this joint, right? They'd rather play there,
Goodbye.
right, rather than the potential of getting 30,000. But you're right, it has to be a one-in-all-in situation where we should only play finals in Sydney, at Homebush, at CommBank, and at Allianz.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that's
Just change the mindset this year.
When you start forecasting who Cronulla could play, it does, it can shape up to be a Warriors or the Dolphins. And to Dan's point, you're heading out to Allianz or a Core and getting 15,000 inside
But aren't
those
they looking at
stadiums.
Cronulla fans there too as well? Wouldn't they have enough Cronulla fans
Well, you would think so.
to fill that twice?
You played a semi-final there in '99
Got flogged.
with 14,000.
There you go.
All right, let's get on to the footy now. Fitzy refuses to change the losing side again. Why?
I think he believes what he's got, he can still get something out of, Braith. I think he turns and has a look at the fact that this side made a prelim and they're 2 points outside the top four at the moment, and believes that they can still get something out of the current roster. Look, down below there's some young talent, no doubt, but I don't know what major changes.
Are they a bit stale, the Sharks?
Changes, yeah, maybe. Adam Fanua-Blake was obviously a key signing for them.
Yeah, I was watching the game on the weekend against the Dragons, and I thought for a team fighting for a top four spot, they're stale. I'm just going to say it right now. They are definitely stale. They were poor, really poor. Deer in the headlights, and I thought, you know what, they've had hardly any injuries. Well, I thought they hadn't. I was thinking they haven't, and I'm thinking they have no Origin players, well, hardly any. So I went into the lab because for one of the first times. Now, the Sharks the last 2 seasons, third worst win record during the Origin period, and they have the least amount of players used. So they have hardly any Origin players, but they got the third worst win record during that period.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, why? Then I looked at their win percentage. Now, this is their spine combinations that have played 20 games or more since 2023. And Kennedy, Trindle, Hines and Brayley, 37 games together, a win percentage of 51%. So
the most games of anyone on that list.
Yes.
But yet only 51%.
51%. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. Now, if we're going to say that the Roosters are underperforming, then what are the Sharks doing with no Origin players and no injuries compared to any other team in the competition? And here we are again watching the side do the same thing.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Year after year.
I firmly believe they're guilty of having a look at the other team's team sheet. Because if you look at through that Origin period, Braith, and I'm saying it's a mentality,
what does
right?
that mean?
I'm saying it's a mentality. Because if you
Whose responsibility is that?
well, the players, right?
Just the players?
Well, wouldn't it be? You know.
Okay.
So what I was saying,
You're not axing Fitzy, are you?
I would never ask Fitzy. He's a good mate of mine, but in this situation, Fitzy has been control of the same team. He has chosen to re-sign Hines and Trindle and those guys. And, you know, he's a mate of mine, but I call it how I see it on this show. I'm not going to not mention it just because he's a friend. Like, is he making the right decisions? What is move is he going to make next? These players are on long-term deals. They've only just signed Trindle, Lender last year or this year?
last year,
You know, Hines is on a long-term deal. Fanua-Blake come over, hasn't quite hit it out of the park. He's been good. He's been good. But, like, if you're a Sharks fan, you're thinking, here we go again, right? He's going to have to spice something up or change something soon. Or he's got to change the way that they play.
Yeah. Well, I think, as I was about to say, I think it's a mentality. I think they're guilty of looking at the opposition team sheet. Through that Origin period, they're playing depleted teams. Who do they get beat on the weekend? By the Dragons, a depleted side. Who did they lose to the Roosters? In Gosford, depleted team. They seem to be played better against the better teams.
Well, they bashed up, remember the Roosters. So the team that embarrassed them in Gosford, the depleted Roosters, they then played them a few weeks later,
Did they have a
bashed
good
them,
finals record?
and they beat Melbourne.
No. So how do they get good against the better teams? When it matters.
I'm saying through the season.
Yeah,
Well, they
when
beat
it
the
matters
Roosters,
most,
Melbourne
Dave,
Storm.
when it matters the most.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They did get to the prelim final last year, Brave.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that. The Roosters got pretty far last year too, but apparently this year.
Yeah, but the rosters are vastly different. Brave.
Vastly different. But we just saw the stats there. You know, they won't change.
You know what?
Their
They've had a
roster.
soft draw
I
too.
think-
It's very soft draw.
They won't change the roster.
Well, Will Kennedy hasn't re-signed.
Yeah.
So we know how key fullback position is.
Breaking news. Fox, get all the 3 tests live, no break free. How good's this for the Ashes? This is big. And we're gonna
Huge.
You going to work on this, Gordy, in the off-season with me? Or?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I'll be in here. Hey, mate, we'll get in here early. So what time does it start? No, but like I remember, waking up and watching it. And if you live in another state, you're going to get it live and exclusive. Mate, it'll be unbelievable. So it starts at Wembley and finishes at
Headingley.
Headingley.
So it's Wembley,
Yep.
the new stadium at Everton, which
right.
apparently is incredible, and then Headingley, and that's a 20,000 seater. And I spoke to Jimmy Graham about it. I said, geez, why are we playing a potential decider at a 20,000?
Always has been.
And he said, if it is a decider, we want the advantage. It's a raucous atmosphere.
Yeah, it is.
And that sounds
You guys
sensational.
going
like
over?
Great. I looked at flights today.
No,
You looked at flights.
I looked at flights
You going
today.
over? Dave, or-
I'll be trying to get there, Brave.
Yeah, all right.
Doing my best, mate.
Fingers crossed. Journo's your key player matchup for round 23 thanks to Aussie Broadband is?
Munster versus Cleary. I know it's 7 versus 6, but one of those will decide tomorrow night's game.
It's the Queensland derby. My man Ben Hunt versus Isaiah Katoa.
Origin number 7. All right, thank you, Journo. There's plenty more to come. And after last night's incredible T20 series between South Africa and Australia is tied, you can catch the third match exclusively live Saturday, 6:45 p.m. Welcome back. Now it's time for Legends Agenda with Jared Croker and Craig Gower. Boys, how are we, all right?
Crazy, Gordon.
Roosters Bulldogs game. It's a big one. Sam Walker, we spoke about him at the top of the show. He's flying at the moment. Why is he going so good?
I think it's his unpredictability. He reminds me a lot of Daly Cherry Evans back in his prime, and I say back in his prime, he's still going pretty well. But just that unpredictability about his play, his kicking game. I did have a bit of a knock on him, I guess, being probably too erratic at times. But mate, the last couple of weeks, he's really just stood up. And another thing, he seems like a confident sort of kid. He kicked 26 goals or something in a row, or 27. Everything's just going well for him at the moment.
Joey?
I just like how he just doesn't care. You know, he just plays what he sees. His creativity around the ruck. Certainly the forwards for the Roosters are laying a great platform for him to play that creative role. And they're looking dangerous, the Roosters.
They are. Now, they're playing the Bulldogs, and Coach Serrato's made another huge call. He's made some big ones. Marnie to the bench and Haywood to 9. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, I think it's the right one. You know, you've seen the way that Haywood's played. He adds a bit more creativity. He's a lot more disciplined around the ruck. And you've just brought Galvin there to play that leading role as a halfback. And I feel sorry for Sexton because he done a fair job for him, and he got them to where they are. But obviously, I think Cameron thinks that they can't win without having those two.
It's a big call for the coach, isn't it?
It is. And I think he just made the best call for the team. You know, if getting Galvin there, having Haywood starting is the best for the team, and he's willing to make those calls, then you've got to stick with him. And the players seem to love Serrato there, and you got him playing for the team, then I think he's made the right decision. I mean, you live and die by the sword a little bit. If it comes back to bite them and they don't go as well in the finals, then people can easily point the finger at, not having Reid Marnie or dropping Sexton. You can look back on those moments, but at the moment, he's made the right call.
Blockbuster tomorrow night. Are you surprised with the Penrith turnaround?
For what we've seen at the beginning of the season, yeah, certainly. You know, they weren't playing the way that Penrith are used to playing, and I think those younger guys weren't really handling those occasions. And Blaze Talangi didn't have a pre-season, and obviously, I think they got a bit of a kick in the butt and turned their attitude around a little bit and defensively. And
They were pretty poor at the beginning of the season, but you've seen what they've been able to do on the back of Nathan, playing those heroic roles that he certainly does. And even Isaac Tago, he's certainly getting back to that form that we've seen in the previous seasons.
Where do you think they rank with the other contenders, Jared? Do you think they're up there with the best?
I think, well, based on the last 4 years, you can't argue with it, can you? But yeah, look, the way they've come home, but I think the next 3 games are obviously they're massive. You're playing the top 3 sides, and if you win at least 2 of those 3 games, then everyone in that top 4 is going to be looking.
Where have you got it? Because I've tried to ask a few people, and no one really wants to put the what on the line here. And you're obviously Raiders all the way, but where would you have the Panthers right now? Like if you had to put your top 2. Who have you got?
Yeah, well, I'll obviously stick with the Raiders.
Yeah.
I think Melbourne. I know they've been. I'm just waiting for the penny to drop with Melbourne. I'm waiting for them to just come out and blow a team away and be that side that we know they have been for a long time. But look, no disrespect to the Bulldogs or Penrith, certainly, and the Warriors. I know they've had. I think the Warriors with the run home, they can still sneak into 4th. I think if they get Wade Egan back and like I said, Penrith have got the top 3 sides, so they could sneak their way back into the Warriors. But
Gowie. Moses, the blow-up to De Silva.
I love it.
I knew you'd love it. Most halves love it, huh?
I used to spray Prudhoe all the time. So,
but he didn't listen, Prudhoe.
No, he'd be just giving them straight back. But, I understand, De Silva, he's a young player and he's just taking the wrong options there on multiple occasions. Like, if you're 10 metres out in that 10-metre zone, you're passing off the ground, Like, you got your chief playmaker there, obviously calling for the ball. Certainly balls hitting the ground.
Yeah. Especially if you've only played, say, 5 games at the club.
Is this a spray here or?
We just spoke about this.
Yeah, that was a massive spray. I was hammering. While he was throwing that ball, I was just going, oh my God. Yeah. He was throwing that 20-metre cutout pass and luckily it's hit the mark. But he was right. So, but then he picked the right option. But he's still got a spray.
Next time I call it, you to mate. The Raiders are flying. Mate, what's the mood like down there?
Really good at the moment. Obviously, you win 10 out of your last 11 and things are flying. But look, it's been great. And obviously, the year starting in Vegas, I think we set a pretty good standard there and a good tone. And I know it's been quite published with Stick and people had us with a wooden spoon at the start of the year, and all of a sudden we're sitting up high and pretty. But yeah, look, they're just confident. We've got a very level group. We've got a good balance of youth experience. A dominant half with Jamal, and like I said, confidence breeds confidence, and we're going really well.
Ethan Strange, I'll come to both of you on this. I'll come to you first because I want to get a bit of insight into him. He looks like a quiet kid. I've never seen him play a bad game. I love watching him play. I think he's got a huge future. He's already a star. What's he like?
He's very quiet. He's a quiet kid. Look, he's full of confidence as well, and he's the sort of kid that you give him that bit of confidence, and he just grows and grows and grows. And he'd come on in leaps and bounds, a big fella. And I think having someone like Jamal, play inside him as well is probably what he needs in that area, just for the age at the moment. But look, there's been a lot of talk about him for the rep jerseys and stuff like that, and that's just the confidence that's going to grow with him as well.
You a fan, Gowie?
Oh, certainly watching some of that footage there, and on the weekend as well. His run game is outstanding, and I was talking to Croach out in the green room regarding what's that next evolution for him as a half, and I suppose it would be that that ball playing role. But you see the way he takes on the line, and certainly a great defender. So they're going to be dangerous. They remind me a bit of like our team back in 2003, where you had that youth and you had the young guys come through at that certain stage. That there's a lot of speed in that back line, and Kano Weeks at the back. He's sensational.
Can they win the comp?
I think they can. Yeah, I think they can. They're very dynamic. They've got the forwards to lay that platform with Papali and Tapine there. So Horsburgh, they've got a great pack, so they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, Big Papa was packing his bags, now he's unpacking them.
Oh, mate.
Mate, how important is he to the organisation? Well, mate, we watched him through Origin. He was sensational for Queensland.
Mate, well, he's just as big off the field as he is on the field for us. The community down there, he's just such a Canberra. And personally, I couldn't see him leaving at all. We had conversations with Papa every week. It was England. It was, going back home. It was retiring. It was all these things. And at the end of the day, we knew Big Papa was probably, if he was going to play on, it'd probably be in a green jersey. So, look, he's just as big for the community down there as he is for us on the field. And you only had to see what he did in Origin to back that up.
Is it true, did the players go to Ricky and just said, mate, you need to change a little bit? Because he sort of looks like he's a little bit more mellow now, Rick.
Well, winning does that as well. It certainly helps him out.
There you go.
I think the youth we have in the side probably helps that. You would have dealt with Stick a long, long time ago as a coach, mate, and even when early on in his career when I was there, quite brutal at times. But he's mentioned over the last 2 years that having a young group, there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be hiccups. You've got to deal with them on the run, and he hasn't really lost his cool at any of that, and the kids are breeding confidence out of it, mate.
I'll be close to the coach of the year if he's not this year. Gowie, the penalty try, the kicks for the penalty try. Yeah. What's your take on this?
Mate, it's doing me head in, isn't it? Like, at the end of the day, you got to be able to try and diffuse a kick, and if you're the attacking, I understand why they're doing it. But if you're defending as well, you're going for the ball. You should be able to try and tackle them in the air, because there's no way that you can actually stop them, or do you start just trying to bat the ball backwards now? I understand why they brought it in, but if you're inside that 10, 20 metre mark and they're putting the kicks in, I think it's not going to be that dangerous because they're both going up for the ball and they're both going to come down together as one. So,
do we think it was even necessary to bring this rule in the first place? Is it that dangerous?
I never thought of it as that dangerous, and I played in that sort of position a fair bit. I mean, this one's a little bit more obvious because he realises that he can't get up for the contest, so he's trying to make a tackle. But this one here is just like there's literally nothing.
I always
else you
thought
can
the
do.
attacking kicks you could actually tackle them in the air.
Yeah, no, they changed it. Changed a few years ago. Yeah.
Well, mate, because blokes are just standing there and tackling them and they were coming down on their shoulders and there was too many injuries.
Yeah. As long as there's a contest, I'm happy with competition in the air.
Right. Like if they go up and like jump for the ball and then grab, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But then they'll start disguising it
in the end. What about the Broncos, boys? Hamstring injuries and it's a bit of a rabble.
It's tough to, I think they're gone after that. Losing those two players there, I know Hunt will come in and he's a classy player, but to lose Adam with his kicking game and Ezra the way his running game is, I think it'd be just too much of a hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, I don't think they can win the comp now, but I'm not writing them off to be a bit destructive in those finals if they do get those boys back late. Like you said, putting Benny Hunt back in there, it's pretty handy to replace, but you still got Walsh, Staggs, Paddy Carrigan. They've still got a fair roster, but geez, it's a big hit.
It is.
What about the trainers running on all the time?
Still too soon for me with trainers coming on the field, mate.
Oh no, for the grand final.
Mate.
No, Piggy, mate, what do you think?
Like some of the stuff, like was it the Titans game where the ball went out the back and they hit their trainer?
Oh, that was a Cowboys game.
Cowboys game? Yeah. That should be changed over. That should be a change over straight away. Let's hit the opposition's. Because he could have tackled him in goal.
Now, this one, Jared, sorry to cut you off there.
So obviously he's going to get the ball.
It's Elliot Whitehead's going to race. Who's that? Oh, it's Teddy, isn't it? He's probably not getting there, but...
Oh, you never
hit Sear in the side of the head. Probably damaged the ball.
Yeah, see ya. Big see ya. All right, now it's time for What Are You Loving? Thanks to Macca's. What do you got for us this week?
I think it's the 4 games this week. Obviously, the Penrith-Melbourne game is going to be a cracker. Then you've got the Warriors and the St George game. That's a massive game for the Warriors. And the Canterbury game, the Roosters game, these matches are unreal.
Some good ones.
I'm going to go with the Queensland Derby and just go Hammer v Walsh. Nice. I've been following the Dolphins. I do rate the Dolphins. They're under the pump a little bit, a lot of injuries. But
who are you tipping in that one?
I'm going to tip the Dolphins. Yeah.
All right, stick around, legends. There's plenty more to come. And next Wednesday, Nikita Zoo returns, and the only place you can watch it is on Main Events. Welcome back. Time now for Ain't As Good As I Once Was. And after the carnage of the Roosters-Dolphins game on the weekend, we're going to talk about chaotic clashes over our time. What's your one?
Mine's 2009. As soon as I seen Spencer going off in a few of them the other night, it reminded me of this. Campo. The Dragons they'd won 8 or 9 or 10 in a row, and Campo come out and being young, I think it is, started throwing them. And this night, we ended up beating the Dragons this night, but I think Joshy Miller also flew out of line and knocked his best mate, Michael Wayman, out as well. You see these tackles now. Joshy Miller wouldn't last for 5 seconds.
I think it's coming now, Jared. Let's have a look.
Imagine this in today's game.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and they were best mates because Horse was obviously at the club for a long time before that season.
Josh, he knocked himself out a few times.
Yeah, more often than not. Yeah, he did it a fair bit. He's still their defence coach down there now, Josh.
I see him on the
Obviously, he's not teaching that.
Not teaching them that, but he's still doing all the wrestling and that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's a few here. I think
a fiery game, eh?
Highlights there.
Nice. Gowie, what's your one?
It was 03. We were playing Brisbane and some bloke went ape shit on Benny Ross.
Mate,
let's watch
are you serious? Oh, come on. Mate, there was a lot to play for. Mate, there was a lot to play for. Mate, a lot to play for.
Can you talk us through this? Just give us a running commentary. What happened here?
Well, a couple of years before, like people started, like I hurt my neck in 2001 and then people were starting to chirp and starting to back chat a bit. And I said to Wayne in the off season, I said, I think I should get him to stop. He goes, how's that? So I'll have a fight. He goes, just make it early in the season and make sure he's a big guy.
Yeah.
So Wayne pressed the green light, so I couldn't wait. So round one was on.
It's Queensland, mate. What are you doing?
Mate, listen, mate, I didn't pick the toughest bloke in the side.
What were you thinking as a teammate?
I was just walking away. I was going that way.
Walking away.
Mate, see, so like, mate, with the carnage, there's been so many, like the famous Newtown versus Manly, and there's been Origin, but I like the 2009 Origin when I think Whitey gets in a fight and then Lockie just puts up the bomb at the end like that. Like, see, so mate, there was fights all the way through this game, and I think, you know, Pricey was going right until the end.
He cops a good one, doesn't he?
Mate, like right at the end, he gets one.
Yeah.
And there it is, and then it fired up, and then Hodjo started going, and Hodjo's calling people out. But then Lockie sort of went against his character and he tapped it and put the bomb up.
That's right.
Down the other end. Were you playing in that?
No, but I do remember it.
Yeah.
That was a fiery one.
Yeah. Mate, I'm going to put the bomb up and let's get into it. And that's certainly not one of Lockie's, but that's...
the
poor kids. I know. All right, we're going to go, boys. Thank you, legends. You two have been great. Craig and Jared, welcome back any time. Up next, Joel Kane's weekend forecast, and following us, it's The Fan. Welcome back. It's time for an update from Sportsbet with my man, Joel Kane.
Yes, it was very hard today, boys. I did the feed with the left hand. Why? International Left-Handers Day. And I tell you what, they over-index for the Gordon. Sorry to you, Gordon.
Bear's head. Thank you. That's
similar.
Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Angelina Jolie, Lady Gaga, left-handers, hello to all of them.
Is that right?
But the reason I bring this up, I want to show you something here, which this agitates me, actually.
Okay.
So all tries scored in 2025, I could have copy-pasted this for the last 5 years. Left-hand side, 32% there in the centre left. But as you can see, far more on the left-hand side. Why?
Is that because they're all right-handed?
Right to left. But Gordy, if we know that, why do we mark up with parity? If we know South Sydney score 3 times the amount of tries on that side, why do we not mark up with an extra man? Why does that number spit it every year? Penrith, every year, dead even across the board. Ooh. That's the clue. Okay, really quickly, we've got the bingo here. All these players, by the way, that I've selected are all running to that left channel. So too in the NRLW. If you want to find this, it's in the feed, but we are ready to strike. You search Joel Kane in the feed, copy the bet, and boom, Gordon, not Brian.
Yeah, beautiful, Joey. You have a good week.
Yep.
Good luck with those bets.
Sugar.
Yes. Thank you, Gordy. That's it for NRL 360 for this week. Now it's time for The Fan.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.